Mergers and Acquisitions 101, How to Effectively Sell a Business, written by Peter Merrick and Adrian C. Spitters and narrated by Peter J. Merrick. Within the next 10 to 15 years, over 40% of the workforce is planning to retire. Yet, many successful business owners are wary of selling their companies. It is very difficult for an owner to see their identity separated from the business. The most important reason cited by owners for selling their businesses is to create financial independence for their families. They also want to enjoy their lives without the financial constraints of having the vast majority of their net worth tied up in a company. Working in M&A between the two of us over 50 years, we have identified that there are 5 key indicators that a business owner is a candidate for selling his business. Age. They're between the ages of 55 to 70 years old, or they have been in the business over 20 years. At this stage, the business owner is ready to do something else. Fatigue. The owner demonstrates a lack of daily enthusiasm for the business. The owner has traveled around the world building the business and has dealt with enough problems. Money. They want to take some or all of their equity, most of which is in the company, off the table. They want to secure their family financially. Future. The prospects of the business are not as bright as previously due to competition, currency exchange, technology, or whatever. Partners, the long-term arrangement has finally hit a major snag. Think of the feuding Redstones of Viacom and CBS, the drama behind the Gucci fashion dynasty, the Gallo wine war between brothers, the Steinberg family, and the Leona Group fallout, the Pritzker family's legal firestorm over Hyatt, the McCain family breakdown over frozen foods. The number one question that many successful business owners ask their advisors is, when is the right time to sell? Before considering selling one's business, the vendor needs to know what his individual financial independence number is. This magic number is the amount of capital that he will need to live on for the rest of his life. The number is magic because it can turn a business owner into a business seller. If it is determined by your client that he could net out his magic number, he is a prime candidate to sell. If your client would not reach his magic number today by selling, he should consider developing new strategies to grow his business until the magic day comes. The second question asked by business owners who are contemplating selling is, who should I sell my business to? Generally speaking, there are 3 primary categories of potential purchasers. Family members, whether active or passive in the business, key managers or senior employees of the business, a third-party purchaser, which may be a strategic buyer, such as a competitor or key customer, supplier, or a private equity fund, merchant bank, or investor. We have found that selling to a third party is the best of the 3 options. The advantages of selling to a third party over selling to family or key managers is that your client has a better probability of selling his business for cash. Plus, the odds are greater the vendor will get a premium and surpass their magic number. As well, if the negotiations fall apart, your client will not have to worry about continuing a relationship with the third party. This cannot be said when dealing with family or key managers. There are a number of major steps in selling a business. First, it is essential to choose a reputable business broker. Forget the ads or mail solicitations. Ask around for a personal reference from someone who has sold their business. Expect to pay about 4%. Over the last 20 years, good businesses have sold for between 3 to 12 times normalized EBITDA earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization, normalized for the owner's wages and non-recurring costs. Once your client has decided to sell his business and has selected a business broker, the broker writes the offering memorandum describing your client's company in detail. It usually takes 2.5 days of the seller's time to supply the raw information. What is helpful during this process is for the seller to provide a list of every potential buyer that he can think of to the broker. The broker will also solicit buyers, sign them to a non-disclosure agreement, screen out non-serious buyers, and present the company in its best light. The seller will meet with the potential buyers to discuss company history, current and future operations, and any role the seller is willing to play in the business transition. The seller should expect to meet a maximum of 5 potential buyers. If more buyers are introduced, the broker is not screening carefully enough. When a deal is in the offering, the broker will provide a signed offer in the form of a letter of intent. He will review it with the seller and point out any advantages or deficiencies. He should not advise the seller to accept or reject it. He should only advise if the deal is at, above, or below market. And that is all. If the deal is acceptable, the broker will procure a deposit. A standard deposit on deals in this segment is $150,000 to $1 million. The seller should have already sat down with his certified financial planner, CPA, and lawyer and put in place solutions to generate and strip out excess cash. Working with tax and financial planning specialists will go a long way to minimize the tax liability triggered by the sale. The buyer will then do a 90-day due diligence investigation to determine if the facts presented about the business are true. It is important to note that this process will be intrusive and tedious. Next is the share purchase agreement or an asset purchase agreement prepared by the buyer's lawyers. The terms will be strongly tilted to the buyer's advantage. The broker, working with the seller's lawyer or with his own specialist, will make sure balance is restored. The seller stays out of this process, letting the lawyers and his broker work. The vendor will formally review the final version. Just prior to closing, the broker will provide a projected balance sheet to the new owners, as well as a payout statement to the vendor showing all costs, projected taxes, and net funds receivable from the sale. The day after closing, the broker will usually hand deliver the checks and ensure the funds are deposited as per the tax plan. When this happens, the broker's job is not done until the funds due on the vendor take-back are collected and in the vendor's account. You now possess a basic primer to map out whether to sell your business or not to sell. There are trusted advisors who have helped owners like yourself in a multitude of industries throughout the preparation, the sales process, and afterwards. The best advice we can give is this: if you want to find out your financial independence number and to sell your business for that number, seek out these trusted advisors. Communicate with them what you want and let them help create a path towards the next stage in your life's journey. The Merrick Spitters Reset Report. Contributors Adrian C. Spitters and Peter J. Merrick, authors of the international bestseller It Starts with Gold, and their upcoming books Killing Crypto and, yes, Gold, Guns, and Land. To continue to get up-to-date reports, sign up to our newsletter at merrickspitters.com.